Welcome back, YouTubers, to another British Fist Wrestling rundown on this week's Friday edition with me, Mr. Parkin, and this guy standing next to me, none other than NJ, people.
What's up?
With his Christmas hat and ready to roll, we are the British Fist.
Gotcha.
Subscribe down below if you want to see more from us. Like this video if you will, and comment your thoughts on the things we will be talking about in this discussion. Rundown type video down in the comment section below.
And make sure you contact us in the link in the description box below.
And boy, have we got some topics to talk to you today. We got some questions here from some YouTubers. We've got some good topics that we think we could bring up, that we could bring some good discussion to you guys. So let's go straight in to number one. So
sit back and relax and enjoy this, please.
It became apparent to us this week that apparently Sin Cara is going to be on the sidelines for a little bit. Apparently he is injured. Now I guess the main question here is this necessarily a bad thing? Because let's face it, guys, Sin Cara hasn't exactly been the best of experiments for WWE. And with him being injured, will it possibly ruin plans for Rey versus Sin Cara? Possibly, I guess that's what WWE are worried about, which is why they're going to let him heal up now.
Number one, I think with Sin Cara being injured, yes, I made the joke on our Facebook page about him being taken out last year, now he's been taken out again. But it's a bit of a shame that Sin Cara, a guy they want to try and benefit this Rey Mysterio kind of tag team-ish thing with, and now he's injured for a little while. We're not sure how long he's out for, but I think it's better him out than Rey Mysterio, because Rey Mysterio's there going to be putting people over, but in this case, he's meant to be putting Sin Cara, who's currently injured.
Yeah, I mean, let's face it, ever since Sin Cara returned from that injury that he had at Survivor Series 2011, reactions haven't been anywhere near the same, and it seems to me that they've got to either shit or get off the pan with this Sin Cara thing, because either they're going to go all the way with it, which it looked like they were going to do with this Rey Mysterio and Sin Cara tag team, possibly leading to that Rey and Sin Cara match, or they just go with an overline. Because right now, it doesn't really seem like Sin Cara is working, it's not connecting with the audience that much, people just don't seem to buy into the Sin Cara character anymore, reactions aren't as good, and quite frankly, my interest in Sin Cara has been rock bottom since he debuted in WWE in 2011.
Well, luckily we have more months till WrestleMania, so they could still hype up this possible Rey and Sin Cara feud.
So Sin Cara's injury, give us your thoughts on it, and also give us your thoughts on whether the Sin Cara experiment has been a success or not, and what are your thoughts on that? For a long time now, a lot of Dolph Ziggler fans, and a lot of wrestling fans in general, have been wondering when the hell is Dolph Ziggler going to be moving away from Vicky Guerrero? Well, it seemed like this week the wrestling fans got their wish. Ziggler insinuated on Raw that he was going to be moving away from Vicky Guerrero into the path of AJ Lee.
The thing about Ziggler is that Vicky has not really been benefiting or helping Ziggler in many matches, or pretty much at all. So for Ziggler now to insult Vicky that we've been waiting for him to do, and say he's going to move on and do things his way, I think that was the right direction, because Ziggler needed it and Vicky won't benefit him, so why not move him on and show him as a singles competitor, even though he's going to be wrapped up with AJ.
It seems like right now that they are actually featuring Dolph Ziggler in a decent spot, and they've given him now AJ Lee as his manager. They've given him Big E Langston as the kind of like enforcer guy. So it seems like Dolph Ziggler has got his own little thing going on there. But do you think it was a good idea, knowing what AJ Lee is like with storylines, to put Dolph Ziggler with AJ Lee? Do you really think that's really going to benefit Dolph Ziggler, or is it going to be more, once again, about the AJ Lee character?
There's two ways of looking at this. I do think whenever AJ is involved, she does become the highlight, but he's also being shown by Langston, who's a new wrestler coming in, so he's going to be getting a push, movement, and growth. So Ziggler could be backtracked, but with AJ being a spotlight, and with Ziggler being involved with AJ, there's a big chance that she's going to help him have more segments on TV.
Hopefully this will be a good move for Dolph Ziggler, moving him away from Vicky Guerrero and actually giving him some purpose on the TV show, and like the way they were showcasing him most of 2011. I like the idea of bringing in a Big E Langston if they're going to book him correctly. I'm for the idea of Dolph Ziggler moving away from Vicky Guerrero, but into the path of AJ, I'm just not quite sure. We have a question here from RFV089. Do you guys think that AJ Lee is bigger and better than the Divas title, as throughout the year she's been featured regularly in the main championship feud on Raw and SmackDown and in the Cena feud? I mean, yeah, she is bigger. She's much bigger than the Divas title, isn't she?
I really don't see AJ as a diva. I really don't. The WWE not portraying her that way. They're portraying her as a psycho or a girlfriend or a crazy chick. She's not being portrayed as a diva. So for her to say she's hiding the Divas Championship when she's not been in the ring to perform as a diva worthy of fighting for a championship within the WWE, I'm thinking at the minute, until they start getting more involved in the ring instead of with male wrestlers, I'm not quite sure about that.
I mean, she has been involved in main event feuds on Raw and SmackDown. She was the GM for a short amount of time. So, and what has the Divas division done? It's really been doing not that much. So, yeah, AJ Lee, in my opinion, is bigger and better than the Divas title right now. It's kind of similar to, I guess you could say, a Miss Elizabeth and Alundra Blaze or whatever. Who was more relevant at the time? Was it Miss Elizabeth that was involved with the main story of Hogan and Savage? Or was it Alundra Blaze who was carrying the Women's Championship? It's one of those kind of things. Sum up quickly your thoughts on AJ Lee's character. It seems like they're kind of going away from the crazy chick thing, and she's just now becoming a whore, kissing all the guys.
To be honest, for a long time now, I've not really got into AJ. When she came into the WWE, yeah, she had that thing with Caitlyn, then it just progressed quickly into a relationship with Daniel Bryan, and just kept getting worse and worse and worse. So to be honest, there's not been really much about AJ that's really got me a reason to be behind her. The GM thing didn't work. She hasn't really worked well in the ring. She's becoming a slut into WWE. She's not really got anything that portrays her as one of the divas. Like, she's not going to be as great as a Beth Phoenix or a Natalia. She's just going to be this crazy woman running about until they change her character for the time.
It's pretty much been like that, isn't it? But I do understand, like I said, I do understand where RFV089 is coming from, in the sense that AJ Lee has just been involved in much bigger things than Divas. And if you're AJ Lee, would you rather be involved in that main event picture, or would you rather be a Divas champion who's pretty much irrelevant?
Well, I think in all cases, she should have held the belt sometime in her career. But the fact that she's not been wrestling, she's just been portraying herself as a slut instead of a taken seriously diva. It's just balancing. Do you want to see her take her seriously or as a slut?
So WWE have brought in this group called The Shield. As a lot of you guys may know, it consists of Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, and Roman Reigns. And I guess really this whole group is there to try and introduce these guys to the WWE very strongly, which they've done, let's face it, throughout December since they debuted on Survivor Series, and they showcased them very well at TLC. And I guess the main question coming out of this, looking ahead to the future, is who do you think will be the main beneficiary of the Shield, in the sense that who do you think is going to come out of that with the most steam, and who do you think WWE really had their eye on out of this group to really actually become a star? Your opinion?
Other than Brad Maddox, who's going to probably be involved with it somehow, I'm predicting. But with these three, I'm going to say, if I run down each one, we've got
Seth Rollins.
Rollins, who I think's got the WWE kind of character that they like. Ambrose, well, I think just because he seems to be popular with the audience, he may go somewhere. And Reigns, yes, I think he's definitely one that the WWE might look at and think there's a future star there.
As I watch NXT, I can provide some very in-depth analysis on these three guys. I'll start off with Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is the guy that has a real Vince McMahon look, in the sense that you know that Vince McMahon is standing there thinking, damn, this guy is a guy who I could really get behind and I could really push. And I think seeing as they're using him as this enforcer guy, it's a way of trying to introduce his character as a big, strong, muscular type that Vince McMahon would like to TV. I see Roman Reigns personally being a big beneficiary of the Shield, purely because I think this is one of the reasons why Vince McMahon has brought this guy in. Because the guy is very green right now, he's got Ambrose and Rollins in there to cover for the fact that he is green. I'll now move on to Seth Rollins. In Seth Rollins, I'm unfortunate, I only see a mid-carder. And Seth Rollins, I see a guy that can do the high-flying stuff, that can have a connection to the crowd. I basically see a mid-card version of Jeff Hardy. Not that he's not going to benefit from it, but I think they can showcase him well, especially like at TLC, when he's been taking a lot of high spots. And finally, the main beneficiary of the Shield, in my opinion, is Dean Ambrose. And Dean Ambrose, he doesn't necessarily have the WWE look, but in my opinion, he has the best package. He does have a look. He does have a unique character. He does have mic skills. He can wrestle. He can tell a good story in the ring. In my opinion, Dean Ambrose, from what I've seen about him, he's doing most of the talking. He seems like he's kind of leading that group and the direction of that group. I think Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns are going to be the two biggest beneficiaries from the group, in my opinion.
Nope.
Why?
I was just copying what Ambrose did in promo. But yes, with the Shield, they're coming out very strong. The only problem I have with them, as we mentioned them, just like we could have said about Langston, they're already involved in the main event slot. Yes, they're attacking the tag teams, and hopefully two of them, if they go in the tag team division, could benefit from it, while one of them probably heads towards the main event scene. I'm not sure how they're going to do it, but I think they could all benefit from the Shield itself.
WWE have started this off very strongly. They have booked the Shield incredibly strongly and really gave them a good showcase at TLC, where people, I think, could actually stand up and say, you know, these guys, I can take them very seriously, unlike, let's say, the Aces and Eights, who are losing matches left, right and centre. So I hope to God that this does carry on through WrestleMania season, and some of these guys, deservedly in my opinion, could be made into future main eventers for the company from the Shield faction if WWE do it correctly. A request we got from Clarkson440 was the overuse of the Miz TV segments. Me and I believe Clarkson440 are both in agreement here that we feel that WWE are just using these Miz TV segments far too much. It seems like we see them at least once or twice every week, and it's getting to the point now, in my opinion, where they're just not feeling very special. It's a great way of continuing storylines and featuring Miz, who is a great talker, and featuring his character as well as other characters. But right now, in my opinion, it just doesn't feel special anymore because they're doing it so damn much.
Well, let me give the positive and a negative. The positive would be the fact it's a strong way to get Miz, yes, it's not wrestling, but a way on TV to hype up something to do with the show, SmackDown, or the pay-per-view, as well as a match. So that's a positive for the Miz, because you put him in the ring, Mike talking against some of the great, you could. But the negative would be the fact that when it comes to the Miz, he's, with these Miz TVs, comparing it to the highlight reel, compared to Piper's Pit, they're done at special moments, leading up to a special match at pay-per-views, or to interview special guests. Miz is just doing it just so he can have his own special thing on a Raw, on a SmackDown. I think they may be overdoing it compared to the other Miz TV-like segments.
You mean like the highlight reel, the cutting edge, the peep show, all those kind of things? They were done very rarely. I think, to be honest with you, the Miz TV segments are being overdone. I think one person who could use his own little sort of Miz TV type segment would be Dolph Ziggler, but that's just me. Yeah, so give us your thoughts on whether you think Miz TV is being overused right now, because I quite frankly feel it is, and it's starting to feel a lot less special now than when it first debuted.
But, say that quickly, some of the segments in the past and probably the future, when he goes up against future opponents, could be awesome.
I guess there are many fans out there that saw Ric Flair on this week's edition of Raw and had warm feelings running through their heart. I guess there's other people out there, such, I believe this is where you're coming from here, NJ, that believe that Ric Flair had his big moment and now he's coming back, and it's like, why is he coming back? Just quickly explain your thoughts on Ric Flair's return and him benefiting the business or not
This is taking nothing away from Flair, because I could say about other wrestlers if they were to come back after what they've gone through. But with Ric Flair, he had that great few-month build-up that Vince McMahon set him up, that match against Shawn Michaels. Then he left, went to TNA, had a run there. Yes, he only came back for one show, so if it looks like it's just a one show for the speciality of that particular show, then fine. But I think the fact that he's torn between going back to TNA again or getting an offer to come back to WWE, even though looking at Ric Flair and what he's been through, I don't totally 100% agree that Ric Flair should come back on a full-time basis compared to the special show he came on.
Yes, and I can see where your feelings might lie there with Ric Flair, going off to TNA, kind of ruining his swan song moment in WWE. But really, in my opinion, on a WWE show which currently is unwatchable and is very boring, I can only really watch highlights of, to see Ric Flair was something that got me wanting to watch Raw. So for me personally, whether Ric Flair is going to be going like in a permanent level for the WWE or whether it's just for a one-off, it was just nice to see Ric Flair and seeing him interacting with guys like CM Punk. And if they do bring a Ric Flair in, I do think it will benefit the product somewhat, especially if you bring him in as like a GM or even just a manager. I mean, imagine who he could benefit if he was managing a guy.
Well, I'm a bit torn because I agree that one show was good, because obviously there was a speciality for that slammy and that. But for a full-time thing, yes, I'm not denying there's going to be loads of fans that want to see it because he's Ric Flair. But I just feel with the stuff that he's gone through, for him to come back, it really wouldn't make much positivity. It's like if I could say people want to see Shawn Michaels, but after his storyline. It wouldn't be the same for him. So I think Ric Flair, if TNA want him back, stick with TNA, because Ric Flair, you've done a lot for the WWE, and the way you were written off WWE was just a great way to leave.
And the legacy was kind of ruined in that sense, I do agree with you. And it is quite hard for him to win the hearts of fans back, even though he is a legend. He kind of won my heart a little bit on Raw. But what about some of the other returns, though? New Age Outlaws, the Boogeyman. Do you really think the WWE could be serious about bringing these guys back? Or do you think it's just a one-off, like possibly Flair?
Last week we mentioned about the whole mid-card stuff.
We did.
Some of these wrestlers that are being involved, Boogeyman could come back as a mid-card for the entertainment side of mid-card. DX, like we've mentioned before, they should at least have one match or one feud if they're not going to sign a longer contract.
Both signed as trainers to the developmental system, so why not bring him for maybe one special match against the Road Scholars or something?
That's what I'm hoping for, just like speciality for them, because they've been making numerous appearances. But the one that I want to bring up here was the Triple H thing, because he teased him possible return, because he made a TV appearance, and then he mentioned The Undertaker.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, it's great The Undertaker's going to be there for WrestleMania, because let's face it, WrestleMania would just wouldn't feel like WrestleMania without Undertaker, would it? So it's nice to see Undertaker actually just coming back. Be interesting to see, and we'll save this for a later video, who Undertaker will actually face. I've got my money personally on CM Punk or John Cena, but that's just me. But it'll be really interesting to see what they do with Undertaker going forward, as we kind of all know that Triple H is going to be involved in a feud with Brock Lesnar when he comes back to WrestleMania season, pretty much.
But as we're obviously trying to hint towards a later video, the question we want to leave for this part of the video is, what you feel Ric Flair's first return since he left, and then obviously these possible other returns we've had, Triple H and DX and Boogeyman.
And how they could possibly benefit the mid-card or give some good rubs onto the roster right now. So thank you very much for watching another British Fist Wrestling Rundown this Friday evening with us, the British Fist.
Gotcha.
We hope you guys leave your comments down below on the various topics we talk about. If you have any suggestions you want to give us as to topics that are relevant to the week in WWE and in wrestling, let us know down in the comment section below, or inboxes, as we are very prepared, as we did with RFV089 and Classen440, to include your topics and your thoughts into this video that we do.
Now, as we wrap up this video, I just want to say thanks to Dan and to everyone who watched this, because I'm really surprised you're still here today. So for you to still be here today, I give you a round of applause. Whatever happened on this day didn't happen.
Yes, and I guess for that we should be very thankful, because it's also Christmas coming up, and on the Raw Rundown this week, next week, which is on Christmas Day, Santa's going to be here, and I'm looking forward to getting my present off him. So there we go. And also, we're going to have presents for each other, aren't we? So we're going to open our presents from each other on the Raw Rundown, which should be interesting, even though we kind of know what we got each other.
Oh, well, it will be a treat to have Santa and presents. But anyway, YouTubers, thank you very much for watching. Tune in to the next week's show, and until next time, YouTubers, goodbye.